This is a cedar root ball. It's partially burnt. I pulled it out of a campfire. Let's see if I can clean her up. But I just wanted to get some beforehand video and see what it looked like. All right, let me get to it. Well, this is what I'm working on right now, folks. It's a cedar, excuse me, root ball. And it was up in the wood burn pile. Excuse me. It was over at one of our campfire sites. And I pulled it out. It's got some pretty cool shapes and some cool colors. I love cedar, as you know. And then I think the burnt effect is pretty cool as well. Everything's been scraped free of anything loose, and I just cleaned it up really nice. I did not sand it or anything. Just wire brush it, that's all. And wash it. But so I want to mount it on this board to showcase the burnt and the regular cedar. And I got this piece of sycamore down here I'm going to use. I'm just thinking of what pattern I want to cut out of this sycamore. And what I'll do then is cut it out and, clean it up and make a nice base. So let me go ahead and get started on that. So this is the rough shape that I'm going to have the cedar sit on. And this is the outside cut that I want to have. That way I can taper the wood up. And this I want to maintain a flat space, I think. But this I definitely want to taper up somehow. I don't want a flat edge. So I'm going to cut it out as best I can with my table saw, because I do not have a scroll saw or any other flexible band type saw. But I'll make it work. So let's get to it. So not a bad rough cut. I'll just grab my grinder now and go around and shape it a little bit more, and we'll see where we're at in a little bit here. I picked this bad boy up yesterday. The coarse disc, it's 4-inch and it's meant for my grinder, but I'm gonna give it a test and see how it goes. So the wheel that I'm using, I've never used before. It's going to be pretty aggressive, I imagine. So I'm just going to do my best. It's just going to be a freehand type of thing. And as long as I stay roughly in this dimension, I think I'll be all right. So let me go ahead and give you a little action at full speed with this wheel. And then I'll switch it to high-speed film or, high-speed. So the wheel was a great little buy, and it's equivalent to 24 grit. It's great for removing that last little bit of chunk wood and stuff that you got before you get into finishing. Like all maybe any kind of sculpting you're doing prior to finishing. It can remove a lot of wood, but I don't think it's as good as like the Arbitech wheel or even the Cutsall. But it's pretty effective, and I was pretty pleased with what it was able to do. And it's actually all I used on this, besides my little mouse sander, palm sander. So I went around, I shaped it with this wheel, and then I didn't sand it. I just went and
excuse me, I didn't sand with this wheel. I just shaped it and then added some texture. And then I did sand the whole thing with 220, and it really was just to knock down the grit and smooth up the high spaces and stuff like that. But definitely happy with the wheel. It's good. It seems like I'm gonna get a lot more use out of it than any of my sanding wheels that I have for removal of wood. You know, my low grit, like 20s, 30s, 40s, those grits that you use just to remove wood, you know. But that's all I got to say about this. I'll let you keep watching.
So that's how the base came out. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Very rough. I'm gonna but I will sand it, but I'm not looking to get it terribly smooth or anything. I'm just trying to make it look nice. So I'm gonna do that now. I'll sand it up a little bit, and then we'll see how it looks when I set the cedar on there. It looks pretty sweet, I'll tell you that. All right, let me get started with that, folks. Okay, folks, it's looking really good. I'm gonna do the bottom first, and I'm just using some shellac. It holds up well for this type of stuff, especially the bottom where it could be sliding across the surface of a desk or something like that. So let me get to it, and we'll see what kind of luster this piece of sycamore has got. The whole thing as a texture is rough, and that's kind of what I wanted. I thought it let it look nice with that piece. So I didn't sand it to a good degree. I just roughed it up and got rid of the burrs and things like that. But nonetheless, let's see how it looks here. She's very blonde, very neutral. She looks nice though, I like it. It's gonna be a great contrast to that cedar with all the burnt that's on the cedar. It should look really nice. So we'll wipe on a couple coats of this with my foam brush, and when we're done with that, give it some time to set up, dry. I'll probably sand it with a 220, and then I'll put a second coat on. Makes it kind of easy to get that first coat on. You can see this stuff here is already soaked in completely. It's not dry, it's just soaked in, but it will dry very fast here. Sometimes you just need it to make a connection to the piece, like in a very small area, just enough to support it. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a little tiny bit tacky, and you don't want to wait. These triangles are perfect for that because the surface area that it touches your
art piece on, or whatever you're working your wood piece, is so small that even if it does stick, you can just break it free and quickly dab it up with your finishing product and cover it, you know, a little sanding. It's very easy to take care of. Yep. So this shellac is going on nice. I like lacquer. Lacquer is a great product. Okay, and we'll get the top side here real fast. This is little rubber brush is falling apart here. This little foam brush just fell apart on me. Guess it's a little too rough, huh? We'll get that off in a second here. With the cedar, burnt piece of cedar sitting there, showing through pretty nice actually too. This is clear. They call it clear. All intents and purposes, it's clear because you're dealing with wood, and wood always has its own color, and anything that you put on there is going to show the wood through it, right? On these edges, you can see, at first you can't quite see it, but then as it sucks it in, you see the clear spots where you missed putting on the product. So it's kind of easy to find those areas and get them covered. And if you don't get them covered, it's not really a big deal because the stuff dries so fast. You can do any kind of touch-ups in just moments, you know. So there she is for now. Looks great. So I noticed that some of the sponge from the sponge brush was breaking apart. So I'm just going to go around and scrape some of that off. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Who knows, maybe it'll do something to the finish and make it look cool. You never know. As Bob Ross would always say, happy little accidents. We had a happy little accident over here and a happy little accident over here. Put it on real thick. Real thick. Doesn't it look nice? The texture came right through the shellac and it just looks awesome. It looks awesome. I love it. There's just limitless texture. You look at you know, your skin has wrinkles and texture. Your hair has texture. Even my short hair has, you know, a gritty line type texture. So I found that if I put just the right amount in, that I tend to be pretty happy with it. Even going as far as like taking wood and like a couple signs I made, I'd bang them up with hammers and wrenches, anything that left a strange mark. And it was, you know, really cool, and plus it was a fun stress reliever. But we'll throw this applicator out, and that'll be that. Let this dry. That's how she came out. It looks pretty nice. I don't have it epoxied down to the base yet, but it's just sitting there on display like that for now. But I think it came out pretty nice. I like how the two woods, you know, contrast each other, the dark cedar. You know, along with this really nice sycamore. I didn't
do anything to this. I really didn't. I cleaned it with a wire brush and, cleaned it with soap and water out in the yard. But that's it. But pretty pleased. Looks like I might have to scoot it over like that. Yeah, that's kind of how I had it, sticking out over. Well, everything's done except for me epoxy on the two pieces together. I think it looks kind of cool. I don't know if I'm a big fan of the base, but at first I thought I was gonna like all those little texture marks, and I don't hate them or anything. I just I think in hindsight I might have sanded that top section just perfectly flat and see if I could have caused like a mirror effect or anything. And who knows? I can still go back and sand the top down, and then bring it up and just sand it and polish it down to like 1500, and it might look kind of cool. But I wanted to share it. I thought it looked good. Well, I did a little change. I ran the base through the planer. Excuse me, let me take this off. And I flattened it out really flat. And I sanded it to 600 wet and 600 dry. And then I did, what course is that one? It's 1 steel wool. The coarseness is level 1. Oh, sorry, I wasn't looking. I was looking at the package. So it's super smooth. It feels great. I'm just gonna throw some of that, excuse me, the oil on shellac. That's what I'm talking about, and seal her up. But she looks pretty sweet and feels just so smooth. So.
Well, that's how it came out with the flat surface, and I think it looks really good. The texture just was taken too much away from that piece on top, I thought so. But thanks for watching, folks, and I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a like, a subscribe, comment, or share. Helps me grow, and I love sharing this stuff. So thanks again for watching. Have a good day.